Turn to page 71 for small group writing. Kindergarten and first grade, you need to look at small group writing a little differently from each other. For kindergarten teachers, what you're looking at is this. When most kinders come into your classroom at the beginning of the year, you're going to have a wide range of students. You'll have some students who come in who may not know their letters, who may not even know how to spell their name, who may have had very little access to print, while you may have others who could actually write sentences. There's that wide range in your room. So with small group writing, what you're going to do is you're going to group these kids in homogeneous groups so you can accelerate and push them to their highest potential. We don't want to have children who don't even know their letters with kids who are already writing sentences in the same small group because our teaching points are so different. So in kinder, what you're going to be doing for instructional level is small groups all year long, but these small groups are going to be ability grouped by ability. First grade, you have to decide at the beginning of the year if small groups are for you. And this is what you need to do. So for our first grade teachers, what you have to look at is how many of your students can at least independently write a sentence on their own. If most of your children in your room, and I mean, let's say that you have 32 kids in your room, maybe there's 3 or 4 who are unable to write a sentence, then you can move from this chapter and just go to the whole group instructional level writing chapters. You don't need to be in small groups. But if you have a large number, let's say around 5 to 10 or more children in your room who come into first grade and they're unable to independently write a sentence on their own, you need to go into the small group format. So first grade, your goal is to use small groups so that you can get all your children or most of them to independently write on their own. And that means at least 1 or more sentences. Because once they can do that, you don't need small group, you go to the whole group instruction because you need to move on. Now let's look at all the instructional level writing groups. For students, you need to pull into these small groups. Turn to page 72. As you see, on page 72, there are 3 types of small groups. There's pre-emergent, emergent, and beginner. On this page, I'm going to identify basically what is it that you are going to have the children master at each of these small groups. The pre-emergent, they need to master how to write 2 types of words. So there's 2 types of words, either words that are high frequency words or words that are CVC words. And those are words that are consonant, vowel, consonant words. So what I mean by that is this. High frequency words are words that children will be using many times in their writing. The frequency of them is high. So when we look at high frequency words, we just want children to know how to spell those words as fast as a snap. And that's going to help them become more fluent in their writing. So when we look at high frequency words, those are words like the, my, I. We want to teach kids how to write those words to the point where it's just automatic. They don't even think about it. So I'm going to show you specific steps that I follow in order to teach kids to master these words. And that will be part of our pre-emergent group. So again, pre-emergent is just teaching you how to write words. What kind of words? High frequency words, and then words that kids don't know, and we're going to focus just on very simple words that they wouldn't know how to spell, and those are your CVC words. Your CVC words are where children are going to learn how to segment. Turn to page 72. On page 72, there are 3 types of small groups for writing, and they go in order. There's the pre-emergent, emergent, and beginner. There are specific teaching points that you are going to focus on for each one of these groups. As your children master the skills in each group, they move up to the next, and this will accelerate their achievement as writers. Let's look first of all at the pre-emergent group. The pre-emergent group, your teaching points there is to teach kids how to write words. And there's two basic skills at this point where you're going to teach kids how to write high frequency words or how to segment words that are unknown words to them. So high frequency words are words that you need to write many times in your writing. These are words like the, I, my, words that children will constantly be using in their writing, so we want them to learn those words as fast as a snap. Segmenting, those are words that children need to say slowly, hear the sounds, and then identify the letter that matches the sound and write it in serial order from left to right. So what they are learning at the pre-emergent level are two types of skills to write words. High frequency words, words that we will master so that we can write them as fast as a snap. Segmenting, where we are going to learn how to say a word slowly and then identify the sound, the letter sound that matches each one of the letters in that word, and then identify the letter sounds. Then we will segment words, where we will say them slowly and match them to letter sounds and write them down on our paper from left to right order, also known as serial order. So once children start having a pretty good number, 6 to 8 high frequency words, and they can segment, and in this case, typically consonant, vowel, consonant words, pretty well, then we can move on to the next group, which is the emergent writing group. So what do we do in pre-emergent? We're just teaching them how to write high frequency words and how to segment consonant, vowel, consonant words. At the emergent level, now that they have these words, basic skills of writing down these words, we're going to move to where we're going to teach them how to write a sentence, because these are new skills. So at the emergent level, we're going to teach them how to take the skills of writing those words and actually putting them together so they can write a sentence. They need to learn how to not only snuggle letters together in a word, but space words, capitals for your punctuation, your mechanics of your sentence. They're going to learn also with capitals when to use capital letters in a sentence at the beginning of a sentence, but all lowercase in the middle unless they have a name. There's many different skills that they're going to be learning at this point. So let's review. Pre-emergent, just at the word level, high frequency words and segmenting words. Emergent level, how to take those words and now put them in a process where you can create a sentence and write those words down correctly in a sentence. And finally, we have our beginner level group. The beginner level group is when students are going to learn how to create their own stories or pieces of information, and then they're going to be writing that down on their own. As I walk you through these 3 steps, what we're looking at is pre-emergent. All the students in this group are grouped homogeneously because they need to learn how to write words, high frequency words, and segment unknown words, simple CVC words. And they're typically working on their letter sounds, and there are these emergent writing skills that they need to focus on. As they build that understanding of how to write words, then we move students to the emergent level group. These are students who can write down the words on their own, but now they need to learn how to put it into a sentence. We have all been there. If you've taught in the primary grades, you understand this emergent level. It's very interesting how you'll have students who can write down words on their own, but when they go to say a sentence, then they're stuck. They don't know what to do. They just kind of look at you like, well, help me write this sentence. I'm not sure what to do. There are separate skills that you have to learn in order to write a sentence down. So we're building that on top of the pre-emergent. After you master pre-emergent skills, then you're moved to the emergent group. After you master the writing a sentence independently on your own, then you get to move to the beginner level. The emergent kids, we're all doing the same activity together. So I could have 16 kids in this group because we're all working together doing the same exact activity. The same with the emergent level group. So pre-emergent, we're all going to be grouped together and we're doing the same activity. The emergent group is the same, where we're all going to be writing the same sentence, so I could have 16 kids in this group if I needed to. And we're all going to be together walking through this same process because we're learning how to write a sentence, the steps of how to write a sentence. The beginner group, on the other hand, everyone's going to be writing their own story or their own piece of information. So I can still have 16 kids there, but they're not all doing the same thing. They're all writing their own stories. And this is much easier for me to get to when they can all independently write their own sentences, because now I'm just helping them create and plan their ideas. They go to write and I can move around to different kids and assist them. If you look now, we have our 3 different types of groups. I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you exactly how you teach pre-emergent, emergent, and beginner. Let's get started.